What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Red Tape Podcast. I'm your host, Demarius Nelson. This is brought to you by 4 to 1 Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Hope all is well out there. I say that every single day because I mean that. Today we're going to talk about a few things here. We're going to deal with the oldie but goodie, old reliable. I'm just going to tell you and talk to you about when you know you're getting old. How do you know you're getting old? I had read an article and I thought it was interesting as far as to know when you're getting old. Also, we're going to see what does old school actually mean. And then we're going to talk about gratification. Just being happy with life, being grateful for the people around you, being grateful to live and have another, take a deep breath and breathe out and say, yeah, I get to do it again all today. And they're like, what was all that about? But that's a few of the topics we're going to discuss today. Hey, this is the Red Tape Podcast. Y'all stay tuned. All right, guys, what's going on, man? Today, just the lightning round, another episode of the 10-minute podcast, given to you quick. So a few things I want to talk about real quick. Old school. Oh, man, I know everybody know about the word old school. I had to look at a few definitions, go to that good urban dictionary to see what they say. And they said anything that refers to the previous generation of a subject, idea, object, etc. Typically, they are highly regarded and sometimes the very thing that started it all. Y'all know how proud you are when somebody said it's old school. Man, ain't nothing like the old school. My question is, why do we say that so much? Because the way how rapidly things change because the human mind is able to make things better each day, it's like old school could be yesterday. But I'm glad I looked up this definition and it says from the previous generation because and you definitely can see the gaps in generation because me and my sister, my youngest sister, we 7 years apart. And I be talking about stuff like some of the Tupac songs. Her and her husband was sitting around. We were listening. I said, yeah, what you know about this song? What you know about Spice One? What you know about Goodie Mob? Like, huh? Who was that? You mean CeeLo? No, Goodie Mob before he became CeeLo. You know, things like that. And it's just funny to me. It made me think about it and want to bring it up. Like, watching that Stranger Things and you seeing Trapper Keepers in there. How many of y'all remember that? Trapper Keepers. Everybody, couldn't wait to come to school with that new backpack and that Trapper Keeper. See which one you get. It's just funny. It's just funny to think about to me. But guys, the reality is for people that can remember those things, that's one of the signs that you are getting old. Now, I believe that all of us have 1 foot in the ground and 1 foot out of the ground. But while you're on the ground, while you're above ground, you know when you're getting old. You get up a little slower, start thinking about retirement plans. My boys looking at retirement plans if we retire with the government, whatever the case, what it would take, what's the percentage. That's the stuff you start thinking about as you get older. And it's good. It's good because we should all be prepared to know where we're going when we get older, know how we're going to do it because life is not promised. Like I said, each and every day, every single person on earth has 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out of the grave. I know it's morbid, but I know that is the truth. So that's why we relish and embrace the past. It's like, oh man, when people say that they real proud, like your grandparents, if they still alive, or your parents, man, these kids dumb today. They don't have no work ethic. Well, the work ethic is just different because we realize that we want to be able to work with our minds and not, just wear our bodies out. Now, I know that's a part of the cost for some of us, all of us actually. We all have done some type of job of manual labor. Some people love it, embrace it. And my boy Berto, he embrace it. He like that physical work. He got his moving company. He go get it done. I go out there with him sometimes, and I was like, whoo. I know we had this one move. He had us questioning life and everything that exists in it. I'm telling you. I was like, God, why? But where this guy lived was the apartment setup was crazy. Everything was inside. There was no immediate access to stairwells. So we had to find the stairwells, go up some set of steps to get to the stairwell just to go inside this apartment. And then you couldn't just go in that way. And for some of the things, you had to go all the way around. So we almost walking probably a half a mile to get to this guy's apartment when the apartment is right below the truck. You talking about irritating. And we going up and down these narrow stairwell that go straight up. And we pulling this stuff with not much room to navigate to the left or to the right. And I was like, to myself, I was like, oh, man, that's why I'm going to school. Because I cannot do this forever. I'll tell you that right now. But, we manned up. We got everything in there. But he was like, we both said, it's like, man, he said, I was about to get this business up today. I said, yeah, I was with you. Let's go to Tiff's Treats and treat ourselves. I don't know if y'all been there, but they got pretty good cookies. But, yeah, after that, man, I didn't want anything to do with life anymore as far as working manually. So I was like, man, you know what? I think I need to start looking at the PhD program or something right now because this is too much. So I'm sure we all been there. And that's just a part of, I don't know if that's necessarily a part of getting old, but, just that mindset you got to have. When you're doing physical work, you got to be prepared for it. And it's just something to think about for the young school. I'm not quite old school, but I'm getting there. So one thing is getting up. I read a fascinating article. It was on BuzzFeed, and it was just funny to me. And it was like when you wake up and you injure yourself in your sleep, you're getting old. I thought that was funny. When you wake up injured from from sleeping, it's an issue for sure. When your back goes out more than you do, you're getting old for sure. And it's just some funny stuff, man, to think about. They had one picture of a what was it? There was had a picture of if you had a pencil and a cassette tape together, you're getting old. If you know what that means when you have a pencil and a cassette tape, when you got to rewind that tape, you're getting old. And it's just a bunch of them, man. And one of the other funny ones is that when your parents say, hey, get off the phone, get off the internet, because I got to use the phone, you definitely getting old. And that's just a few of the things that I thought about, man. It's always cool to think about the old school, the roll down windows you really don't see anymore in your cars. And all that stuff is amazing to think about because it's amazing because time flies. And that's what we got to remember. And we got to embrace it. We got to embrace the time that we have and enjoy the time that we have with each other, to reminisce, to talk about the future. And hopefully we're trying to plan a better future. I'm big on relational leadership. I'm big on relationships in general because I want to see the best in humanity come out through communication, through interaction with one another. And I think this is a good way and a good topic to talk about. To kids, they make fun of you. To old adults, because the older our elders, because they're going to make fun of us. And then vice versa. You make fun of the kids. And it's a healthy dose of understanding across the generations. So we don't have such big generational gaps because it is important to learn from one another. It is very important. And if we're not seeking to learn from one another, then what are we doing? Because that's what it's all about in life, guys. So that's just something I thought about, old school. All right, hey, please make sure you subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, this good The Red Tape Podcast. Like it, share it, rate it, give us 5 stars. That's all we want, 5 stars. If it ain't good enough, hey, send me a message. But don't mess with them stars out there, okay? I know it's a lot of haters. It just remind me of when the Black Panther came out and people were trying to rate it bad just for the sake of it was too good. It's too good to be true. So don't do it like that. Wakanda forever, guys. All right, up next. All right, guys, we're going to talk about being grateful. Oh, man. I know a lot of y'all be like, yeah, we need to talk about that. But let's look at ourselves first. That's always the thing that I like to do. Just being grateful for where you are, who you are, what you have, even what you don't have. Because sometimes not having things are good too. It's a good thing, especially if you're not ready for it, not prepared for it. But, we always want people to be grateful of what they have to offer. We want people to be grateful for what you offer them, especially your kids. You get kids and you give them something, you're like, I'm all right, guys, I'm working overtime the next 60 days because Christmas is here. And you do all that work, and then your kids like, you're never home. And then Christmas come around and like, you didn't get me what I asked for. It's the wrong color. And you're like, oh, boy. You know how that feeling is. Blood boiling. I know y'all don't have that issue, but, for people in the real world that have those real problems, Like, this kid is going to make me take the head off right now, you know. But it's about being gratified. About being grateful. Gratification is everything. See, what I'm grateful about is the people I have around me, man, who continue to support me. I'm going to tell you something, honestly. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if people are going to actually listen to it. But I do it because it's something that I want to do. You know, it's going to be therapy for me. But it's just something that I want to do to say the things that I think we need to talk about. But that's just my opinion. Whether people listen to it or not, it's up to them. But, you know, my boy today was like, man, hey, you got to be brave. I know it ain't easy to get up here and do this every single time as much as you like to talk. But you do it anyway. Now, I like to talk, guys. So, you know, it's either doing this or I just sit in this room and talk to myself. And I'm not crazy, okay? But no, really, in actuality, I'm just grateful for those people that continue to motivate me. Whether it works or not, the thing is I try. See, I have enough confidence I try to make sure I do it as professional as possible. I leave the mistakes in their own purpose every time because I think it's important to be real because that's what people need these days. So when I'm doing this, it's for other people to be motivated and want to do it for themselves. When I write, yeah, I want people to read what I write, but I'll do it so other people can say, you know, if he can do it, I can do it too. Because Mears, he's not the brightest guy. He's not bright at all. So if he can do it, I know I can do it. You're right. If I can do it, you can too. Whether you're good at it or not, I mean, it's going to be, you know, hey, the public will let you know what's up with that. Trust me. Check your numbers. But it's just the point of doing this. I'm grateful for those who continue to push me to want to be better, to strive for more. And they don't have to. They don't have to say anything. But it's just something that we do for each other because iron does sharpen iron. So be grateful for when you have those people. It don't matter if you have 1, 2, 10. Just be grateful and make sure that every single person know that you're grateful for them and your kids. If your kids listen to this, hey, make sure you tell your parents you're grateful. Just say thank you sometimes without a complaint. Hey, if your old lady messed your food up, your old man messed your food up, you know, your T. Jones, whatever you want to call them, mess your food up or they do something wrong. And every single time I have to be like, God, can you ever do anything right? Sometimes it'd be like, all right, thank you. And that'd be the good start in America what we can do to better this world is just being grateful. Hey, I'm grateful for my neighbors because I could have some lunatics and then we have a different issue. I'm grateful for everybody that do anything for me. Guy come cut my grass because I'm not able to right now. Even though he didn't make it, he didn't show up. You know, I'm still grateful, man. I'm grateful because I kept the money in my pocket and I'm going to find somebody else that's ready to make some money, you know, right now. So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the good times, the bad times. Because to me, it's not really any bad. It's just life, man. You know, like I always say, the ebb and flow of life. So just be grateful for what you have. Now, this went over 10 minutes because I just had to get that in there because I, shot myself in the foot when I said I'm going to talk about a few topics. But that's what I want to do today, something brief, just remind you, hey, nothing like the old school. Also, be grateful for what you have. And just remember, man, embrace the generations. Embrace each generation. If you're leading a CEO of a company or if you're an employee of the company, whatever position you are in the company, make other people feel good about the situation that they're in. Make them feel good to be there because one thing does suck, and I've seen people commit suicide because they feel like they're too old and people have forgotten about them. So don't forget about the people around you. Let them feel worthy. Hey, if they're stubborn, you say your piece and you move on. If they're young and think they know everything, you say your piece and you move on. But, we got to work together. Got to do better, especially in America because that's where I live because I want to see us all stand up to be stronger each and every day. And that's what we must do, all right? Hey, that's all I have to say today. Keep striving for excellence, guys. Hey, this is the Red Tape Podcast. I'm your host, Mears Nelson. You have a great day.